Here is something that should stop you mid-scroll. The dying brain is not quiet. For decades, the assumption was straightforward. The heart stops, blood flow ceases, the brain goes dark. Game over. But landmark research from the University of Michigan, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, upended that narrative entirely. When researchers analyzed the brain recordings of 4 comatose patients after cardiac arrest, 2 of them exhibited an explosive surge of gamma wave activity in the moments following the removal of life support. Gamma waves are the fastest type of brain oscillation and are strongly associated with conscious awareness, attention, and memory. This surge was concentrated in what neuroscientists call the posterior cortical hot zone, a region linked to dreaming, visual hallucinations, and out-of-body experiences. The pattern mirrors what was previously observed only in rat models, but now there is preliminary human evidence to match. These findings do not prove that the dying experience a rich inner life in their final moments, but they suggest the brain may not shut down as passively as once believed. Near-death experiences, reported by 10 to 20% of in-hospital cardiac arrest survivors, have long described vivid encounters with light, deceased loved ones, and feelings of profound peace. Science is now inching closer to understanding why. Death is not a single event. It unfolds in stages, and the boundary between life and death is far blurrier than most people realize. Clinical death occurs when the heart stops beating and breathing ceases, but clinical death is not yet biological death. There exists a narrow window, roughly 4 to 6 minutes, during which resuscitation remains possible. During this grace period, the brain, though starved of oxygen, has not yet suffered irreversible damage. This is the space in which modern medicine performs its most dramatic rescues, pulling people back from the edge with CPR and defibrillation. Brain death represents the true point of no return, the irreversible cessation of all electrical activity in the brain, including the brainstem. Once brain death occurs, no machine and no intervention can restore consciousness. Cardiac death, a separate classification, refers specifically to the permanent loss of heart function and blood circulation. Research from the AWARE study, conducted across 25 hospitals in the United States and United Kingdom, found that some cardiac arrest survivors reported lucid experiences during the period when they had no detectable heartbeat. A 2025 bibliometric review cataloging 775 studies on near-death experiences confirmed that this remains one of the most active and debated frontiers in consciousness research. The line between alive and dead, it turns out, is less a wall and more a fog. Once biological death is confirmed, the body begins its long, methodical process of self-disassembly. The first stage, autolysis, starts within minutes. Without oxygenated blood to sustain them, cells rupture and release digestive enzymes that begin breaking down tissues from the inside out. This process begins earliest in enzyme-rich organs like the liver and in water-dense tissue like the brain. Within hours, blood begins pooling under gravity to the lowest parts of the body, producing the dark purple discoloration known as livor mortis. The body cools steadily toward ambient temperature, a process called algor mortis, and within 2 to 6 hours, calcium floods the muscle cells, producing the unmistakable stiffness of rigor mortis. Then things get considerably less dignified. As muscles relax, the body releases whatever was still inside it. The sphincter loosens, the bladder empties, and trapped gases escape through the mouth, sometimes producing sounds that nurses and mortuary workers describe as disturbingly lifelike moans and groans. Skin begins to recede, creating the illusion that hair and nails are still growing. They are not. Blisters form on the surface. The body may twitch involuntarily due to residual muscle contractions. In some cases, post-mortem erections can occur if blood pools in the right direction. In exceedingly rare instances, deceased pregnant women have delivered through a process driven entirely by abdominal gas pressure, historically called coffin birth. Death, in short, is a messy business, and the body holds nothing back. 3 to 5 days after death, the second major stage of decomposition begins. Bloat. Bacteria that once lived harmoniously inside the gut now run unchecked, feasting on tissues and producing enormous volumes of gas, primarily hydrogen, sulfide, methane, and ammonia. The abdomen swells. A foul-smelling foam, laced with blood and bodily fluids, begins seeping from the mouth and nose. The skin takes on a greenish-black hue as hemoglobin breaks down and iron sulfide compounds form beneath the surface. Forensic scientists have identified more than 400 volatile organic compounds released by a decomposing human body, including dimethyl disulfide, dimethyl trisulfide, and indole, each contributing to an odor so potent that trained cadaver dogs can detect it through soil, water, and even concrete. Active decay follows, during which organs liquefy, soft tissues collapse, and insects, particularly blowflies, colonize the remains. Forensic entomologists study the predictable life cycles of these insects to estimate time of death with remarkable precision. In open, warm environments, a body can be reduced to skeletal remains within weeks. Buried in a standard coffin, the process typically takes 8 to 12 years, though factors such as soil acidity, temperature, humidity, and even prior chemotherapy or antibiotic use can dramatically alter the timeline. After roughly 50 years underground, even bones begin to dissolve, their minerals slowly absorbed into the earth. The body that once housed a lifetime of memory, ambition, and love becomes, in the end, indistinguishable from the soil around it. Despite all that science can explain about the mechanics of death, one question persists with stubborn force. Is there anything after? The data suggests most people think so. A 2025 study drawing from the Global Flourishing Study of over 200,000 participants across 22 countries found that 57% of the global population believes in life after death. In the United States, 67% of Americans believe in heaven, and 55% believe in hell, though both figures have declined steadily since 2001. A 2023 Gallup poll found that belief in God among Americans has fallen from 90% to 74% over 2 decades, and belief in heaven dropped from 83% to 67%. Philosophers have long wrestled with this terrain. Descartes argued that the soul exists independently of the body. Nietzsche proposed eternal recurrence, the idea that all existence repeats infinitely in an endless loop. Buddhism offers the wheel of samsara, a cycle of death and rebirth that ends only through enlightenment and the achievement of nirvana. A third of Americans now believe in reincarnation, with the number rising among younger adults. Meanwhile, some cardiac arrest survivors describe their near-death experience as nothing at all. No light, no tunnel, just empty blackness. Science cannot yet resolve this tension. But it continues to refine the question, mapping the brain's final electrical storms, cataloging the chemistry of decay, and surveying the beliefs of billions. What happens when you die? The honest answer may be the most human one possible. Nobody knows for certain, and that uncertainty may be the most powerful force shaping how we choose to live. The final scene fades as the slideshow concludes, leaving viewers with a sense of wonder and contemplation against a backdrop of softly lit research facilities and serene landscapes hinting at the mysteries explored throughout the video. A gentle, inquisitive musical score underscores the presented information about consciousness, near-death experiences, and the complexities of decomposition, prompting reflection on life's ultimate transition. The on-screen text highlights key findings regarding brain activity during death, the possibility of a grace period, and the enduring human fascination with what lies beyond. We thank you for joining us on this journey into the science and spirituality surrounding death, inviting you to show your appreciation with a like and share your own thoughts or experiences in the comments below.